Hello and welcome to Crusading Through Part 3. I'm Sam.
And I'm Jim.
And welcome to our Part 3 arc by arc manga reading, recap, and discussion podcast where we talk about our main character doing animal abuse and beating up the handicapped. And The Fool, Iggy, and Geb's Endel, parts 1 to 5, I believe.
Yes, so, we're reading... So what chapters were they? 70?
The 75.
Okay, so Stardust Crusaders chapter 70 through 75.
Yes.
I forgot.
Our first Egyptian god card.
I kind of forgot that they were both in the same arc. Like
I didn't. That's how I remember them being together. Because you gotta, show off the new character.
It's true. Also, yes, you're correct. The first Egyptian god card.
Yes.
I really liked this arc.
Yeah, there's some stuff I think not related to this arc. I'm like, that's kind of funny in hindsight, kind of going in there. But I guess
I feel like I know some of the things you're talking about, like the meeting.
Yeah, so you can see my notes are pretty meaty. Are actually full two-sided notes. So
this is kind of like a reset almost. Like there's a lot of things that we get like a refreshing of the timeline. We have like a new character. It's a really good step forward.
And the villain actually has a lot of character to him.
Yeah, and Duel's great.
And Duel was the most character, one of the most character we got from villains. That wasn't Enya, but Enya was a joke and not I didn't take her serious at all.
Yeah,
Whole Horse has the most personality. Who's also a goof. So it's the first serious character villain that's not to become a goofball or melt at the end. He's completely cool through the entire time, even in his own death.
Even by killing himself. Yeah, it's so cool. No, yeah, and Duel's really good.
Oh, we'll get there, but how long it takes for you to monologue, but you have a bullet to the brain.
That's very much a Metal Gear Solid 1 scene.
I mean, even Revengeance, where you slice them up to a million pieces and still have a conversation with them.
That is just completely nonsensical. But
so we start out with Abdol facts. We get Abdol 101 with a little the pre-chapter bio.
Oh, I forgot. I actually didn't even read that.
He is an Aries, a fellow Aries. His favorite colors are orange. I didn't write all of it. I took some little funny things. His favorite food is sushi. His favorite movie is Midnight Run, which I never heard of.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. I think it's
Is it a war movie?
No, I think it's a motorcycle movie.
It's either that or it's I don't think it could be a Western, too.
Midnight Run, it sounds like a motor...
Or it could have been a World War II movie from
Hold on, I'm looking it up live on the podcast. Midnight Run, 1988.
Ooh.
Action comedy.
Wow, that's a very recent for Abdol.
Yeah, Robert De Niro is a bounty hunter.
Wow. I never heard of a De Niro movie.
I really haven't seen many. Yeah, apparently it's funny.
Okay, interesting.
But action, I don't know.
So that's a very recent movie to be Abdol's favorite movie of all time. But I guess maybe he's from Egypt. He probably didn't see many American movies. Only on the flight, probably to Japan or maybe to New York to get Iggy, because we know that's what happens. But yeah.
Yeah, they do mention that. So I forgot about that.
Kind of mentions his personality and he had the bullet wound to his head that will never be mentioned again after that. But then we get a little Egypt 101 as well. So just a lot of 101 stuff. And then we get a helicopter, overly dramatic helicopter arrives with everybody posing.
I absolutely love this 2-page spread because first off, it's the iconic scene that they use in the OP where all the guys are facing the same direction from profile. It's a really cool shot.
And then that will be gone for the longest time after this arc.
It is so funny. I had that thought. I was like, this is the only time when all 6 Crusaders, until I guess the very, very end.
Yeah.
But the only time where all 6 Crusaders are hanging out in the same spot.
The first time they're all in the same spot in one piece.
Yeah.
Because Iggy loses a leg by that time he gets in the end.
But no, it's a great little shot, and you're right. It's so funny because when I first was reading this, I was like, "Are they falling into quicksand in the scene?"
I know. I thought they were sinking. And then the Speedwagon Foundation arrives, and they are bringing the Fool, and then Polnareff Polnareff jokes about oh, what kind of idiot has the Fool, and Polnareff, this stand could beat you easily.
Yeah, it's very funny. This is more Polnareff main character scenes where it's Jotaro is in the background while Polnareff is talking and runs over and does the whole thing with Iggy.
And the fact that so they had to capture him in the city. The fact that he's probably way more powerful in Egypt also,
Yeah.
That's all sand.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, like, it feels very much like Araki wrote him for the desert.
Yes.
Because this is the first time that we're in, like,
I mean,
the Egyptian desert.
He would have been useful in the Middle East, like from India to the Middle East as well. So.
And yeah, it's just, I mean, it's hard not to love Iggy.
Yes.
I also like
old design Iggy.
More points to the manga. Iggy here looks incredible. I love the way old design Iggy looks.
So I'm not gonna get to all my trivia, but he is based off a Boston Terrier, and the reason Araki picked him because is a normally black and white dog, so it's easier to draw without having to color it in a certain way. It's just black and white.
That's really interesting. It's so funny that because like to me, I think it's really funny that Iggy is like the tiny dog. Like there are so many like bigger dogs that are more threatening, but he goes with like one of the shrimpy like little ugly bastards.
Also, he wanted a group pet for the group. They're just really funny.
He
just wanted a pet for them. And also, fun fact, Boston Terriers are one of the friendliest breeds, but Araki just made the personality 100% different because he didn't know anything about Boston Terriers.
I love the way that Iggy looks. Like to me, like Araki has literally just gotten worse at drawing dogs over time.
He really has.
Iggy looks like a dog in the first few chapters here.
Part 8, he looks like a fucking like monster.
There's a few moments where
he looks like such a pathetic like creature.
But in part 8, Iwasuke looks like, I think his name. He literally looks like a troll creature.
Yes, he looks pathetic.
He's like a hunchback, and he always looks like he's crying.
I don't know what dog he's supposed to be.
I don't know. He's a rock dog.
Sure.
But no, I love. It's really funny because there's some panels where I'm gonna try and find one as we go through. There's some panels where Iggy literally does look like his later design, where he just looks like a cute like shonen mascot almost.
But a dog with a personality, like actually real face with facial reactions.
Yeah, when Araki just stops drawing his like snout and he just has like a regular like anime mouth.
It's the stupid drooling dog for most of this though. So yeah,
I love him. I love him so much here.
I wrote down the Foundation members look really smug in this one panel where like they just look evil or like menacing, but they're just like there to drop them off.
They have a moment where like Jotaro, I think it's literally the panel where Jotaro is like, "Which one of you is it?" Because he's talking about like the new Crusader, but I literally thought, I was like, "Oh, does he think that one of them's a stand user?"
I feel like one of them. Yeah, he thought, like, "Oh, we're not
like an enemy stand user."
It's like that one thing from SpongeBob when they're having the fry cook games, and the big guy comes in and like, he's actually carrying him on the back, and it's just Iggy in like a dog pouch, chewing gum, and like he's just under a coat, and like the first thing he did is like jumps on Polnar's head, like tries to bite his hair, and then just farts.
He farts in his face.
Because farting's funny.
Farting is funny. Also,
it's the Always Sunny. The poop's funny. Just farts are funny.
It makes me think that Araki doesn't actually have a dog in real life or much experience, because when dogs fart, you cannot hear it normally.
No,
it is silent and it is horrifying.
Yes.
And just to see that Polnareff is getting like farted right in the face. He would be, if that was like a real dog, he'd like, be KO'd by the stench. And
then Polnar tries to stab it, and it actually shows the fool for the first time, like right away, of its weird bird motorized car design, like hybrid design.
Yeah, I like how quickly we just see it, like.
And we get like it's sand, but what its uses are very extensive by the end anyway. So,
yeah, it makes it seem really strong, and also like we get the whole backstory about. Polnareff, Abdol and Joseph had to catch him.
Yeah, they said they had to go to the city and like they had to get him to calm down a bit so they had to get him on the helicopter, which is why they didn't get him right away.
Yeah, also we get the infamous coffee flavored gum.
He doesn't fly so good. So another little thing that the people. I looked at a lot of trivia. I go a little bit more about the Fool. The Fool may be a reference since Iggy's named after Iggy Pop. The Stooges album called The Idiot.
Huh. I feel like that's a bit of a stretch.
It's stretch, but it's a nice coincidence, though.
It is. Oh, sorry, wait. There's one other thing I wanted to mention. So yeah, the Fool.
Iggy Pop?
No, not Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop is good, though.
Iggy Pop is good. No, there's a scene where I think Kakyoin says something about like, well, there's only 2 tarot cards left, the Emperor and the Fool. No. And I was like, why did he say that?
He said he said the Fool and the World.
He
didn't say the Emperor. He said.
I need to reread.
He said
I could have sworn he said the Emperor.
He said the Fool and the World. I mean, like, oh, we have to assume. We'll just assume Dio stand is the world, which I'm like, that's pretty good bold assumption.
Wait, I need to find this because it's gonna bug me now if I don't.
No,
'Cause I could
I
have
know you're
sworn
talking
that I
about. 'Cause
read.
I wrote that down where it's like he actually mentions Dio and saying, "Oh yeah, Dio's probably the world." That's a safe assumption.
The Worldo.
Yes. Also, I guess while you're looking, there's one thing they say like, "Oh, it can control sand." Like, "Oh, that's a pretty simple ability." Like, he goes, "The simpler the stand, the stronger it is." I'm like, really though?
Yeah.
Wonder review.
Yeah, it's not a good rule.
Like King Crimson, it's not really simple to explain it. It's like one of the most powerful things. Like every stand that's overly complex tends to be strong as fuck.
Yeah.
Like soft and wet.
Not to say that there aren't some stands that are like the simplicity is helpful, but like King Crimson,
Yes.
like incredibly powerful, but it's not
you
simple.
you need a paragraph explaining what it does.
Yeah, yeah. Even just the one ability, like
And even like Jorno's ability, that's super strong, but he had like 20 abilities. It's like, come on, man. Even you can't say like, oh, Star Platinum is such a simple stand, the stronger it is. No, it's just to do the best. As we learn it, we use the special eyes in this. But like, it's just like in hindsight, it's not a good thing to say the simpler the stand, the stronger it is, because that's not true.
yeah. Okay, I did find the lines.
Yes.
So, they're talking about who are going to be these 9. So I'm cutting ahead. Actually, let's go and I'll bring it up.
Okay.
So we get this.
So Holly has 2 weeks left.
Yeah, that's the other like ticking clock. So as I said, a lot of like refreshers
Yes.
in this chapter.
And we said they had sights on Dio, but they have 9 people with him, which are the 9 Egyptian god cards.
It does say 9 men and women.
So, because the Wikipedia, because I wanted to make sure they actually tells you the 9 god users. One of them isn't. Remember, these are, and it had a silhouette of all of them in like the garb and everything. It's men and women, which is only one woman, by the way.
I know.
So one of them is Anubis. Think about that. It could be he could be possessing someone, but as we learn, he just has the sword which finds in the middle of the road when his introduction
You
happens.
actually do see in the
Does one of them have a sword?
Yeah, one of them does have the sword on his belt, the one on the far left.
Oh, I don't think this actually. This looks like a dagger more than a sword, but I mean,
I think it kind of has the same design. Well, whatever. I mean,
But one of them is also Boingo, a child, and one of them is Pet Shop.
I know that's what I was trying to think of. I was like, wait, no, Pet Shop. Remember, we did see an early Pet Shop though.
Yes, that parrot.
The
that
parrot
talked.
version of Pet Shop.
The parrot that talked.
It did not talk. Oh my god, I have to relitigate the fucking parrot thing. Okay, so the reason why I mentioned, so here is the line from the chapter.
Yes.
So Polnareff's like, what? They're new stand users?
Look
And
at
then
it.
Kakyoin says, hold on, the only other remaining tarot card that a stand could be named after, aside from the Emperor, is the World. Why does he mention the Emperor? Do they not know that Whole Horse is the Emperor?
I'm pretty sure Whole Horse announced to Polnareff in their first encounter that he was the Emperor.
Maybe he did it to Abdul, and then but Abdul's still alive.
And like they could probably like, well, he stole their car. I guess because he's still running around. And like they're just assuming that like he's going to show up again, most likely.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that was Araki
it's-
saying like I'm intending to use this character again.
Yeah, I guess it's just weird. They assume that he's coming back. Where you think after the whole Enya thing, Horse would just fuck off.
Yeah.
'Cause after like he probably I'm pretty sure he does show up one more time to like be like. Remember
Whole Horse?
Yeah, Whole Horse threatened Dio before. Did he already threaten Dio that one time? Remember he tried to point the gun at Dio that one? Or that maybe without it might have been anime only. I don't know.
Well, he does well, we know he's in Boingo.
Yeah.
He teams up with
I
Boingo.
remember
again.
at one point he does show up at Dio's. I think he shows up at Dio mentioned in the anime. I'm not sure that happened in the manga because we're kind of going through that.
I think, if I recall correctly, I think that scene was like him learning Dio's like that Dio's like really powerful and that he shouldn't fuck with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we encountered that in the manga, but maybe
Okay.
maybe it is anime only. I don't know.
I don't know. It could be.
Keep it in the back of your butt.
It's a really
for
cool
later.
scene though, because I like seeing Dio interact with people in this.
Me too. I wish that Dio was more present throughout the story.
Yeah. So another thing, Endo kind of appears being menacingly, oh dogs, he probably knows I'm here. He likes to speak in third person, the great Endo and all that stuff. I like the thing though, he kills the fly. That's the fly that like showed them where Dio was.
Yeah, the Nile fly.
Nice little touch there. I like that little callback.
It is nice. It's nice when Araki does acknowledge
When he remembers.
things. I just want to give Abdol a second. Like, this guy looks so cool. I love his stupid hairstyle.
Yes.
I love that he's like a blind guy. The whole like thing with his little walking stick's really cool.
I
His
guess I got
staff.
another piece of trivia that he's based on the Zatoichi movies, which are a long-running movie series about blind swordsmen,
samurai,
blind samurai, blind swordsman kind of thing, and there's a whole trope of that in general of just like blind
Yeah.
guys seeing through other either from sound or other methods. Like,
Heightened senses.
Yes.
Yeah, it's extremely much a trope, but it's a trope that like when done well, it's really fun. It's like Daredevil.
It's
like,
cool to have a villain do that trope though,
Yeah.
not like the hero doing it.
It's really cool because it's neat how we'll get to it later, but how the characters need to like fight around it rather than like when you're watching Daredevil or reading Daredevil comics, like you're learning like what his strategy is. Like,
Yes.
it's like reverse, yeah.
So and then they drive their really ridiculous buggy, and they find
This is baffling to me.
with their buggy.
I can't remember if they do this in the anime, but I feel like they could have just not had this buggy scene. Like they could have just done everything with the
Just been attacked,
helicopter.
like the helicopter pulled up and gets attacked immediately or something.
Yeah.
They could have. And then they drive a little bit, find the helicopter destroyed.
I feel like they might do that in the OVA. I've never seen the OVA though.
Well, but maybe we'll come back to OVA after we're all said and done.
I'd like
with this.
to.
And then one of the pilots is dead. We're drowned apparently, and the other pilot was like still alive. But then Geb, like when he warns him, Geb just like removes his head. I thought he was gonna like completely rip off his face, but he just ripped off the head.
Yeah, I want to talk about. So the first guy is totally drowned, and I actually love this little like. So he's like pinned under the helicopter, and he's like
They're trying to drag him out
because they think he's like crushed, but he actually like was drowning, and he like scratched like the side. There's like nail marks on the metal, like so this guy was digging into metal.
Also, a little trivia: Araki heard a story of someone drowning on a cup of water and made wanted to make Geb. We thought, oh, it's cool that happened in the desert. That was literally his mentality of like, I heard a story like, I want to this in the desert. It'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, I don't know if we explained it. Geb's power is to control water.
I'm not sure. It
is.
It is just water.
It is water.
It's because it's not. It's like very similar to Angelo. In part 4.
Oh, it is.
It's literally like worse like Angelo, but Angelo can like puppet people. Where this one just kind of just kills you essentially. It's about more. I think a lot stronger than Angelo feels.
This one is one of those stands that's like OP.
Yes.
Like it's
faster
literally
than
quicker than Star Platinum. Thank you.
It's up there with Tower Grey. It might actually peak over Tower Grey.
There is kind of a line that it like leaves it up to your imagination though, because he does say something like, "Oh, Jotaro didn't react quick enough because he didn't know where the attack was coming from." But it's like,
imagine if Abdol was on the plane. Like imagine that.
They would have all died.
Yeah, they would have been screwed.
You open up your little like water bottle and it just kills you.
It's like a guy with sunglasses. He could be a sand user. Oh no, he's passed out. His eyes are closed.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he kills the pilot in a really brutal way, and then
as you said. Oh, when you mentioned how he got his head ripped off. The one panel of him getting his face ripped off is so brutal.
I thought it was just gonna be a completely like facial removal, like Mortal Kombat style, but no, just a head rip off.
Ironically, it's less gory in the manga for him to rip the whole head off rather than to rip the face off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then there isn't like a ripped face.
It just looked like that's where he was going with like the way his face scrunches up.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Polnareff and Kakyoin like argue a little bit of what to do, and Kakyoin gets his eyes cut out. Or cut.
I'm really angry at Kakyoin in this scene.
Yeah,
he's such a dick.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, why not? Your stand is like perfect. Like, this is like very similar to Tower of Grey. This is like what you're meant for.
Yeah, it's like your
Emerald. No one has ever deflected the Emerald Splash, Kakyoin.
Oh, also, okay, I want to say few things. There's a lot in these chapters, but we didn't talk about the hilarious coffee flavored gum scene where he steals the whole thing and he's eating all of it.
It just Iggy trope is going to be in the entire part.
I love Iggy so much now.
He also like takes the driver's seat,
yes, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. He takes a whole seat to himself, and the two other guys have to stay in the back.
Yeah.
But the one other thing.
Oh, yeah, when the buggy gets attacked, and then Iggy just jumps out immediately.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. So this is like the first time I think we've had like everyone here. Well, with Iggy, like everyone is under attack right now, but Iggy is just kind of like sleeping. He doesn't care.
I got out of range, and even like Abdol kind of realizes that.
Yeah, because Abdol's like, oh, there's something strange about the dog.
They haven't tamed the dog yet.
Yeah. Then he's like, oh, I don't care.
Yes, and then they basically like learn right. They're getting this eye cut. So they basically have to like babysit him, but like also like learn like, oh, he attacks by sound, obviously. I'm like, sure.
Yeah. So okay, there's like this is such a weird nitpicky thing that I'm always thinking about. I heard that it's like a Pixar writing rule where they say like they try and not use a coincidence to get their character.
There's no such thing as a coincidence, so
when they don't want to use a coincidence to get their characters out of trouble, they want to use a coincidence to get their characters in trouble.
yes.
But so in this scene, when like Polnareff's almost going to be killed by the stand. It's got like its fist, it's going to kill him. But then like coincidentally, it's 4 p.m. or it's 14 o'clock, 2 p.m. and the Speedwagon guy's stopwatch goes off, and then the stand goes for the stopwatch.
So
it's
Endo's
just like
Endo's not, even though he like knows everything's going on, he's not really controlling it like that, because it seems like to have, or he's just like, because if it was Endo hearing that, he wouldn't have attacked the watch, because he's like, that's obviously not one of them. Like,
well, I think, that's really interesting.
like I don't think he like they would, unless he doesn't know it. Maybe he's like, oh, they have a watch, it's obviously one of them. I'm like, but like I don't think. Like, from all the info you got that everybody seems to know about, in the Stand User 101 that he came out of the lecture from, that we obviously know, like...
So here's what I think, interpreting what we see later. So what Endul is doing is he's putting his staff up to his ear and then putting the end to the ground. He must be feeling the vibrations.
Yeah,
so he probably couldn't tell that it was like a watch going off.
He's doing the Toph method.
Yeah. It's funny because I actually was thinking of Toph, because if you remember in Avatar: The Last Airbender, when Toph they go to like the library, which is in the middle of the desert, Toph's whole thing is that she feels vibrations, that's how she sees, but in the desert she can't feel them because it's shifty sand. So it's funny that Endul does not have this issue.
Yeah,
But so basically I was just saying, I think it's a little, I always notice it whenever a character's about to die and then a coincidence saves them. I always think that's like, well, what if it wasn't fucking 2 p.m.?
Or teaches them how to, like, combat the stand kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, unless it, like, yeah, I don't know. That's, like, such a nitpicky thing.
It happens in JoJo a lot, though. It's like
it does.
Like...
It's also, like, what's the word? Like, tension builder. Also, as you said, it also serves a plot function where the characters learn how the stand works.
And also they figure out, oh, he's supposed to be, like, at least 4 kilometers away. I'm like, okay, that's very specific. But yeah, as I said, he attacks the buggy. Iggy jumps flawlessly, and Iggy. So Iggy knows where he is because he like can smell him. But Iggy goes to sleep though instead, because he kind of notices it, but like doesn't want to do shit.
I love it. I love how hideous he is.
And then Geb goes underground, which is. And then Abdol throws. I like the little like move. Abdol throws his bangles like onto the ground to misdirect it.
Yeah, this is so like
okay. Also,
this is a great Abdol moment.
Okay, but also the biggest like the Iggy and Jotaro shouldn't have been like the main one. The major like none of the Egyptian gods should know that Abdol is alive. He should be their biggest like wild card right now going into this, because they all assume that he's dead. He's not caught by surprise by it must be Abdol. Like he's like probably the biggest threat to Geb. He could evaporate, because Abdol says, I'm going to evaporate the stand. Which, imagine what would happen to Endel if he was successful.
I'm trying to think, like, I guess there is a chance that the Empress could have radioed back.
But like,
was her name the Empress? Who was the last one?
What, the
last one?
High Priestess.
There's a chance the High Priestess could have like radioed.
High Priestess or Judgment.
Wait.
Oh, Judgment got pissed in his mouth. That was it for the most part.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. Like, I guess they could have radioed.
I'm just like, they was this whole thing of covering up his death so the enemy wouldn't know, just for immediately for them to know, and Abdul just almost dies again because he almost gets his throat slit.
Oh, I forgot about that scene.
Yes.
So yeah, like, even though he has this brilliant plan of throwing his bangles as if they were footsteps,
he only does 5.
He does just get slashed because this is like
he does get a burn mark on Endol though, which is not, you get the hit on him.
So, okay, this is kind of the problem with talking about these chapters, is, like, they're very, like, moment-to-moment based, so it's not really fun to, like, talk about.
Not only does he have a bullet wound in his head, like, now he has a little, like, throat scar.
He gets a massive fucking cut.
It recovers by next time, which is good.
It literally isn't brought up again.
Because Kaku has to go away.
It's like a 7-inch slash into his throat.
Kaku has to go away and get his eyes, like, fixed up, but, like, have to just get stitched up and immediately sealed off, I guess, because that's how it works.
Yeah, Stone Freeze in the background.
Sure.
She's going to stitch him up.
For the Foo Fighter, just going to shoot some plankton in there.
So, yeah, I think that's kind of like, that's like a lot of like the nitty gritty. After this, it's just
Jotaro basically runs towards the user, but he grabs Iggy on his way, threatens Iggy, and just fucking like tosses him up in the air, so Iggy just also can just fly.
Yeah, there's a lot of like interesting plays by Jotaro here, because like
Our main character does animal abuse, like I said in the opening of the episode.
so yeah, he throws Iggy. Iggy starts flying.
So Iggy can glide, apparently. It's just a thing that he can do.
So it's like a second mode, because we see the first mode. It's like a car. He has
Yeah.
like wheels, which that kind of makes sense.
It
'Cause,
looks it looks like a dog on his hind legs, like ready to bark or whatever. Like
yeah, and it kind of makes sense because like Iggy, they say he was in New York, right?
yeah,
So I could imagine him like seeing cars all the time. His weird psycho,
Just how
what is it like?
he was born in the streets.
Your
kinda,
fighting spirit, yeah. Yeah, he's born in the streets. He probably got hit by a few cars.
Have to dodge cars.
So yeah, I mean it's not too weird, but the wings are a little strange.
Yeah, I mean there's sand. I can see sand wigs being a thing, because that's his shapeshift. Because the extent of his shape shifting or sand control is there's not too many sand powers in I think of him and Gaara from Naruto. They're the only two like really sand crafters, I guess.
Yeah, we see like
Sandmancers.
we see the sandbenders in Avatar, to bring up another Avatar reference.
Yeah. Like
we
the
see
swamp benders.
we see Sandman from the Spider-Man, Spider-Man 3.
He doesn't do anything fun with sand. Sandman does nothing like fun with sand.
Sam,
he
he
makes
makes his hand.
He makes a sand mace.
He makes his hand a big mace. That's pretty epic.
The only cool thing that he did with him, I think, Marvel Zombies, where Sandman made Spider-Man like consume so much sand that he just burst it. Like it was gross.
Consume the sand.
He inflated Spider-Man with sand till he burst it.
Someone's fetish.
Someone. So yeah, they were losing glide height because Gerda was riding Iggy, which is hilarious.
Also, yes,
Iggy
he grabs. Okay, so we actually see some frames.
This is a Boston Terrier where a over 6 foot tall like teenager is riding the small dog in his fucking stand. Also, imagine this with a non-stand user watching this. By the way,
the man and the dog start flying. Well, we actually see Jotaro. It looks like he grabs onto the stand with his bare hand, which I was like, how? Why is a human
it's
touching
also like
a stand?
mostly probably sand anyway. It probably doesn't have a physical like grab it onto. It probably just.
That actually makes kind of sense. But no, but you actually do see, you can see Star Platinum's hand sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because we see them do that sometimes.
I bet the Fool is just coarse and rough and it gets everywhere.
Funny reference.
I had to. It's required at least once. And talking about sand.
So yeah, there's a whole scene where they're starting to lose height, and then Jotaro's like, "I have one move."
Well,
and
don't forget Iggy's panic farts.
I did forget about his panic farts.
And
also, I just love the image of Iggy being cradled by his stand. It's really cute.
I love how he flies.
He's like a little potato.
I'm glad I have a figure of Iggy and the Fool.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, I came with old Joseph. Iggy came with old Joseph, and I had to buy the Fool separately. And then they pose perfectly together. But it comes with a class. You want classic Iggy, or do you want the reaction Iggy?
I do. I have learned that I love Iggy a lot more than I used to.
In a Heritage for the fighting game, when Lisi does his like young thing, he just turns into old Iggy, like the first chapter Iggy, instead of just.
That's really funny.
They're not gonna make him a puppy. So.
Oh wait, sorry. I did want to say about the Fool's design.
Yes.
It's like probably the most overtly mechanical stand that we've seen.
Yeah, I could get in on this, and like especially in part 8.
Because Judgment had like a lot of mechanical elements.
Yes.
But this is like by far like there's like fucking pistons on the wings.
But like we said, like if you need like a city dog, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think it all tracks. The weirdest thing to me is like the headdress, like the feather headdress.
Like the Native American headdress kind of thing going.
I think it just doesn't really like make.
It's
I don't
weird.
see the connection to like. I don't see like the sand and then like the mechanical stuff. I don't see why there's like a headdress.
It's weird going to get that kind of aesthetic. You know, I understand the High Priest is kind of going for that African.
That totally makes sense, and it works. I think the design works there.
So, but yeah, he does like his special Star Platinum launching ability.
He kicks the ground real hard.
He's Star Platinum special eyes to locate Endel, and and the launch. He does echolocation, throws sand in the air to like pinpoint their location in the air. It's a good idea.
This is a really good fight where it's just like everyone's always one-upping each other.
Yeah, this is what a hero would do in like that trope kind of thing of like, or when it's raining, or starts raining out, and just like I can see now.
It's funny because I think in Daredevil, I'm trying to remember some of the comics.
In the Daredevil movie, the Ben Affleck one, that happened at the end because it starts raining, and that's how he's able to beat up Kingpin.
Well, I remember in the Wade run of Daredevil, because I remember he's in a building.
I didn't read the Wade run.
Oh, you never read the Wade run?
I never read much Daredevil.
Oh, it's great. I remember there being a scene where he's fighting, I think, the Spot in a building, and then the fire sprinklers go off. and that makes him hard to see because there's like so much sensory
Overload.
Yeah, so I to me it makes more sense that it would be confusing.
Yeah.
But whatever, I get I get
It
what the
just
shtick is.
Geb is like a god of the earth.
Yeah, it makes
Essentially,
sense.
he's water, but
He's a giant rock man.
But he has to use earth only in Smite.
His 1 does a roll.
Shout out Jim. No one plays Smite.
His 2 does a ground pound, I think.
Okay, and
his 3 does a shield.
yes, and what's the alt?
The ult's of the circle area of effect that
And
stuns.
what's his passive?
Um.
Reduce crit damage, motherfucker.
All right, there's your.
We talk about
We're gonna do
Smite
Smite
next time.
We're gonna do a Smite reference every time. now.
Only for the ones that actually are Smite gods.
Oh, that's right. There's a couple that aren't.
Yeah.
Like a Kunamu, I don't think is.
Only what the Boingo is not. No, Oingo's not. Boingo is.
Yeah, Thoth. Yeah, Thoth. Yeah.
Yeah, your favorite. And yeah, so Jotaro then throws Iggy at Endo, which is hilarious, by the way. So, so you have to either defend yourself from the dog that's coming at you at like mocks the light like a bullet.
Yeah.
Or Iggy has to defend himself to like not run into him. Like one of them is gonna do something, which is really funny. So and like
it's great. I absolutely love that he. And it's one of those times where like time stops and doesn't make sense because he throws Iggy, and while he's flying through the air, him and Endo will have a conversation to each other.
And it's like trying to think of what to do. Of either we or one of them have to defend himself, and like while like it happens, Jotaro just gets behind him. Like it's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, the scene where Jotaro is behind him is also sick.
And they basically have like a Jotaro does this a lot where he does like a draw.
It's like a standoff. Yeah.
He does a Western duel kind of thing, and then
a Western duel.
And yeah, he gets a hit on Endo, and Endo knocks off his hat. So we see Jitaro's hair in full, and blowing in the wind fully.
Oh, we do, don't we?
Yes, and then he just commits suicide with Geb, which is crazy. But like we said, in Metal Gear rules, he's able to monologue a bit.
This really reminded me specifically of the Sniper Wolf fight, where like Sniper Wolf dies. And she talks for so long. There is such a long... And it's like the best one. Like, Sniper Wolf goes from being a character that has no development to like my favorite character, Metal Gear Solid 1, in like the scene where she's dying. It's so good.
I like sliced up any of the bosses in Revenge and just walking slowly through their chunks and just like talking to them.
That one, I still can never wrap my head around how that's supposed to work. Because at least in Metal Gear, the person is like laying there.
Because cybernetics, it's just like... They just like had this uploaded to just to talk to you when they're dead because they like knew they were going to die.
But it's really hilarious because they sound like they're beat. Like the voice actors act like they're like out of breath. And it's like, your computer.
They probably think, okay, you just lost. Now talk like you just lost. They didn't realize that it was actually they got sliced up. But yeah, so he didn't want to be interrogated, and he just talks about like how much he loves Dio, and like, Dio was the first to acknowledge his value and everything.
One thing I love too is how one thing he mentions is how he's happy that he won't be killed by Dio.
Yes,
he said, "I do not fear death, but I don't want to be killed by that man." Like, why is
because if you kill by Dio, you are worthless to him, and you are insignificant, so you probably lose your value to him. And
that's true, yeah.
Because they had so much build up to Dio, where in part one, where first he was a schemer and like had to go work in the shadows and like kind of like bullshit his way through a lot of stuff, and then it wasn't until the second half where he could use that power to act as crazy as a motherfucker as he want. But they were kind of getting like a mix of those two, like in the shadows, or just him being the smooth man. But we don't really get any of that interaction until we get the Poochie flashbacks in part 6, where like you understand how much of a smooth talker Dio was in this time period.
Yeah, it's funny because we see Dio at the very beginning and the very end, but there's so much in the middle that is like
clouded.
Yeah, well, you have to think about like, well, he would need to be like a smooth talker, very influential to get his power.
He had some lectures about the Joestars. He had a lot of sex apparently.
He loves it.
He loves it.
I mean, when you have Jonathan's big old dong, you can't not use it.
he had many children that looked like all like horrible mongrels except for Giorno.
Do you think that Jonathan's dong was bigger than Dio's and he felt bad about? Or do you think it was like vice versa? Do you think he like downgraded when he switched to Jonathan's body?
Okay, anyway.
I've never thought about this.
I don't want to think about
Imagine
this.
having a different dick.
Like
that'd be weird.
Oh God! you like women like, oh, you thought you were having sex with the Joestar, but it was me, Dio. Or at least just as the one for Giorno, because that's the only one that came out like a Joe star.
Yeah, right.
All the other them came like fucking monsters.
Like literal sociopaths.
Yes.
Okay, so let's finish this off.
Please. Yeah, so he uses he uses the Geb on himself, and just like it's just really cool just to get like, because we got some of that people were to Dio, like, are very loyal to him, or they get the flesh buds. Like I'm surprised like they didn't. Some of them don't have flesh buds just as like a safe measure. Just
Yeah.
because they said because Hermit Purple can interrogate like the thought. They're like, the steps they have to go through just to get to that. They have to find a TV or they have to find a TV to get the actual thoughts of anything, or a picture, I guess. But like, can he use that on other people though, like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like
I don't know if we see that.
I think they were trying to do it with Enya, but like I want to know like how they were going to do that. Did you have to use like Hermit Purple kind of read their minds? Because like, they said like, it could read my mind. I'm like, can it though? Or you have to use a picture or like a TV or anything in between?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we don't really see that, do we?
No, and I'm gonna see interesting to see how many of them like are just KO'd and like probably could have interrogated it later from this point on. But also, this one line he says, I love. He's like, "Evil needs a savior," and I fucking love that line so fucking much.
Abdol is just really cool.
Dio is just the ultimate evil, and like he is the savior to all us evil motherfuckers. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's really hilarious how like everything before this felt like nothing.
There's so many,
and then now it's like, oh, shit got real.
There's so many quotes in JoJo, and I feel this was probably one of the most underrated ones because I fucking love it.
It's really cool.
Like, Jotaro, I guess, is going to be the ultimate good, even though this man has beat up the handicapped and has abused animals and abused women and abused elders.
Yeah, he basically just hates everything.
And then, as we know, becomes not a great dad, probably.
We also get, so this is where they learn about the 9 Egyptian gods.
Yes.
He also, Abdol tells Jotaro his Geb was his stand, because
yes.
Otherwise they wouldn't have known.
Also, apparently he said, we're named after the Egyptian gods, which is the origin of tarots.
The tarot cards. Yeah, I wanted to look that up, because I didn't...
Yeah.
I don't know how, like... Because my understanding of tarot cards is, like... I don't know, actually. I associate it with, like, European things more.
Yeah.
It's probably like an Indo-European thing.
I guess wherever the whole fortune teller craze started, that's what I'm curious, because that's probably where it would be. I always thought the whole fortune teller thing was, like, a Middle Eastern, like, maybe, like, India kind of thing. Because I kind of get a Middle Eastern, like, origin, I feel, from fortune tellers, but I don't know. Psychics and fortune telling have been a long con for like literal centuries, so who knows? It could be either one.
Tarot cards. Sorry, so this Britannia.com says tarot decks were invented in Italy in the 1430s.
Goddamn Italians!
By adding the existing suited pack of. Wait, I can't read all this.
Those goddamn Italians! As Italian man myself. Goddamn Italians.
Yeah, apparently it's a... So I guess it's a northern Italian thing from the 14th century. That's very interesting.
Yes.
14th, 15th century.
Yes, and So
yeah, I wonder... maybe Araki's wrong. I don't know. Maybe there is a connection to the Egyptian gods, but sure, whatever.
Well, one of the Egyptian god cards is there, and...
Oh yeah, we literally do see an Egyptian god card.
Yeah.
We see the Geb card.
I'll tell you, if you give me a different god, I'll tell you what it does in Yu-Gi-Oh! Jim. You get one for this episode, just so I can get my Yu-Gi-Oh! Trivia fact.
Okay, some who use tarot for cartomancy believe the cards have esoteric links to ancient Egypt, the Kabbalah, Indian Tantra, and or the I Ching. I don't know what that is. Yeah. But scholarly research found that they were invented in Italy. Interesting. So Rocky's wrong, I guess.
Yes. Funny. Are you my Egyptian god card fact of Yu-Gi-Oh! For this episode?
Oh, you have one.
I know Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if I came prepared, but like the one god that's not surprisingly not in this is Ra. In JoJo,
oh,
Ra,
yeah.
Even though he's like the major pantheon, the sun god, because I guess the sun already happened. He want to do the sun 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, Ra is like one of the more important gods.
He's literally, so in Yu-Gi-Oh! He's like literally the most, like, in the anime at least, he's like the most important one, like the strongest one, even though like in the actual game he's like the weakest. His little like ball mode is way more relevant, in the metagame than the actual god card.
There's more than 3 Egyptian god cards?
There's 3 Egyptian god cards, but they have some other cards tied to them. they have the ball mode that had happened in the anime. They made that a card now, like the better version that people use because like it kind of like got rid of monsters on their field. But yeah, it just drained your life points, increased your attack, and at that point you would get them on there. There's no use, and it sucks.
That's funny.
Ra sucks in Yu-Gi-Oh, but
no Ron JoJo.
yeah, but there's 3 different god cards, and they have a Divine Beast typing, and there's 3 more Divine Beasts in Yu-Gi-Oh GX, but I don't think they're based off of the gods or Egypt theme, so I'll go on another episode when I have more trivia. But yeah, Ra sucks inside Yu-Gi-Oh and not in JoJo, surprisingly, even though it's like the main Egyptian god that everybody knows.
I'm trying to remember the list really quick.
Go. You try to name them all.
Of Egyptian gods and JoJo?
Yes.
I'll try. I'm not looking. Okay, so obviously we have Geb.
Yes.
We have Bastet. We have Anubis. We have Kunamu. We have Thoth. I'm almost there. We have...
The people... There's 2 characters in the Dio's castle are Egyptian gods.
Oh, okay. Well, isn't the one like... Tenor Sax? Is that his name?
No, he's not an Egyptian god.
Okay.
We're talking about the 2 actually important... Well,
I remember if that was his name or if that was his stand.
I guess he is at the mansion, but it's right before they actually get into the mansion.
I can't remember what Pet Shop says. Or Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice
he's not one.
No,
he's a vampire.
No.
He's just a vampire. I can't... What are the other ones? I can't remember.
Osiris?
Oh! Fuck yeah.
And then there's both Darby. I think one was a tomb, I think?
A tomb. I think you're right.
And Set,
yeah.
and I think the only one I don't remember, I think it might be but
so we're missing Sobek.
Sobek, the god of the Nile.
One of my favorites.
That could have been a good one for another water-based one. But Rocky, if I got tired of doing water-based stands.
yeah. We just had like 2 in a row basically.
Yes.
Or at least water settings. Yeah. Oh great, we did them. We named them all.
Yeah.
Awesome. I got almost half, or I got about half. That's
I think we forgot one.
What does Pet Shop stand?
I am double checking.
Is it literally Pet Shop?
No, it's not called Pet Shop. Okay, Pet Shop. Oh my god, Black Widow ad taking over my fucking wiki page. Horus. Also a Smite god.
I mean, Horus is a Smite god.
Yes. So yeah.
Hilarious.
So Endel named after a band.
Endel?
Okay, yes, named after Yuso Endower, a singer.
Yuso Endower. They're Western, right? They're not like.
Oh God, I even here. You can pronounce the country for me before I butcher this country.
Known as from Senegal.
Sure.
Senegalese. So Senegal is a country. I think it's in Africa, right?
Yeah. Well, judging by the picture of him, I'm gonna say yes.
Senegal.
He was a minister of tourism in Senegal as well.
Yes, Senegal is if you've ever heard of the Gambia, there's a country called the Gambia, and Senegal completely surrounds it. I know nothing about Senegal.
Oh. Okay, so let's actually finish it because
we didn't finish the chapter.
Actually buries him in the sand with his cane.
He does bury in duel, yeah, interesting.
And Iggy gets his hat and gives it to Jotaro, which is nice, and he has gum on it, which is haha, got him.
I do love this little scene where he gets the hat. It's very like ultimate Iggy moment. He's a cutie, he's a cutie pie, but he's also a bit of a bitch.
Tsundere.
He's a tsundere. They're like Jotaro and Iggy are gonna out tsundere each other, like.
Too much edge. You literally have the beginning of part 3, but with like Iggy in jail. So it gets like the rest of my trivia going before we.
Yeah.
So it was back from the fighting game when Iggy's ending, he becomes king of the dogs.
That's hilarious.
He adverts his ending, his fate, but Kakyoin lives. But Abdol is the only one that dies in the end of part 3, his ending. I think it's like vice versa too, in like Kakyoin's ending where he lives, but like Iggy dies.
Huh.
So
it has to be a price.
Endel was going to be a character in Heritage, but they cut him out for whatever reason. He had a model. I think he's like a mini boss in the game where you have to get to him and then just punch him once and you win. But you have to dodge his stand and shit.
That's really interesting.
And he had a model for like when Elise would touch it with the shadow.
Huh.
So,
I need to play that game because there was so much like love put into it. It seems
there is everything come back with a lot of trivia from it. So let's see what else I didn't get to on here. That's basically the one I didn't mention from all throughout this episode. So yeah, overall, very good.
I really like this one. I mean, I keep saying it every episode, but part 3 is so much better when you read it. And like the way we were doing it, where we basically it's like every 2 weeks we read an arc. I love it. I look forward to it.
Yes.
It's so fun.
And next we get the Oingo Boingo.
I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited.
When we get to the next page and see a little gremlin boy ready to go, and ready to see him talk about how Araki predicted 9/11.
Oh yeah! Oh my god, we're gonna see that. Yeah, I forgot that. Because like at this point, I don't really know the order of the stands. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, we get Oingo Boingo next.
I knew they were early because Boingo comes back with Whole Horse. Cause
yeah.
It's like, damn, I need another week. I can just bring back 2 characters. But like, I'm excited. But yeah, it's very good. Endel is very cool. Probably like the most personality. The reason why he became a fighter in Eyes of Heaven.
Yeah, actually, I remember I've played with him before. He's really fun because you can just like sit in the corner while your stand goes out and attacks people.
You walk around very slowly with the cane out. It was really fun.
You know, I loved Endel. I thought he was probably one of the highlights. It's going to be hard for him to be the best one though.
We're going from this insane conflict that fighting for their lives to this goofy like Boingo fighting for his life to keep up a charade of being Jotaro, but in a t-shirt.
So going through this, I'm just thinking
it's a tonal whiplash we're gonna be going through.
Yeah, like this is like a very dire chapter. Like Kakyoin's eyes got fucking hacked up.
Yes, he'll recover fine, even though like his eyelids literally got sliced down the middle.
You can see like into his fucking eye goo. Like that's how deep the cuts are.
It's funny that he's just gonna be fine.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, he gets to wear cool sunglasses later.
Yeah, he'll get cool sunglasses, then he'll just lose immediately. And then, just like Abdol came back from a balloon to the head.
JoJo.
Yeah. We'll talk about more, I guess, the whole thing about Kakyoin leaving next episode. That's when it probably actually happens. In the middle of the shenanigans of trying to blow up the gang.
Yeah.
I think with an orange grenade, if I remember correctly. I think that it was like a weird fruit grenade or something they had, or a fruit bomb.
I don't even remember.
That's what I think that's what happened.
I've totally forgotten about this, so I guess we'll find out next time on Crusading through Part 3.
Yes, and I guess plug it up then. Does you have any other things?
I did have one other thing I wanted to mention.
Go.
Just like hitting this chapter and like seeing how everything has just kind of been like wiped clean, like we're starting fresh almost. It just makes me think, why do we have like half of the adventures from the first part? Like so much of
how many of them are useless?
Like, I mean, I like Strength. I think it's funny, but
I like Yellow Temperance.
Yeah, like you could easily cut like maybe half of this fights out.
The Sun. We talked about that. We had the roadmap. We talked about how many of them are just like useless.
And like now I know like they
like Tower Grey showed them like, why they can't just take a plane there.
Yeah, I mean you can like justify some of them, but it's really just like when you hit chapters like this, you're like, damn, Araki could be firing on all cylinders.
Like you didn't have to do like Dark Blue Moon really. It's because how many of them were just
that might be one of the worst ones actually.
How many are just low Jotaro wins?
Yeah. This one's kind of a little Jotaro win.
He worked for this one at least.
He does.
He had to put through a lot of effort to get to this win.
It's really funny how he doesn't get hurt at all either. He's like totally fine.
Now his hat gets knocked off. That's it.
Yeah. But compared to like Abdol who gets his fucking throat sliced open,
it's fine. He'll get better.
All right.
He'll cauterize the wound with Magician's Friend.
He could have like his humongous scar on his neck.
Burn mark.
Yeah.
It'll be badass. Not only does he have like a head scar, he's covered in scars by the end.
I love that idea because you know how like in part 6, Jolene always uses the stone free to stitch people up. I love that Abdul just like cauterizing everyone's wounds to save it.
He had the bullshit healer, but. He's gonna walk into the whole like Vanilla Ice fight like, wow, thank God my arm doesn't have any scars on it, then just vaporize. It's the one arm that doesn't have a scar on it, just left. But yeah, I think.
All right, I think we're good. If you want to start plugging.
Yes. Thank you all very much for listening. Again, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, all those good little things they have here. Don't be blind and hit one of those.
Yeah, make sure keep your sight. Don't be blind unless you are blind. I'm sorry. You're fine.
You're fine.
You're listening to an audio medium. That's great.
They're already sending Geb after us. Jeb. They're sending Endol's Jeb at us.
Jeb. I can't believe, we didn't make a whole Jeb joke this whole episode.
Please clap.
Yeah, there we go.
And yes, you can join the Discord. You can check out our other videos if you haven't already, if you're under a rock. tell a friend too about this because this series is I don't know. We have a lot of fun doing it, and you should. It's a lot of fun if more people listen to this.
I really hope that there are people that are reading along with us.
Yes.
Because we have gotten these out more regularly now. Because there was like maybe 6 months between episodes at one point.
Yeah, we took a break because real life kind of butt their head in there for that.
Well, we started this during the lockdown, where it was like, oh, I lost my job at the time. I was like, oh, I have so much time. Like,
lucky you. I was an essential worker. but definitely like we want people to go on this ride through. I guess one of the most, the like, definitive part by people, like, the most popular part. Because Jotaro in part 3 is like literally the most famous part.
Yeah.
The reason why him and Dio always appear in everything. It's the reason why Jotaro is John Cena. So yeah, and I think
I guess that's it, right?
You can follow the podcast and me and Jim separately on Twitter. And to keep your eyes on anything on the podcast for videos releases or Jim's epic memes.
My hilarious fucking memes.
Yes, and with that,
when I draw too, check out my Twitter at King Protus. I dropped a new freaking drawing of my little character.
Yeah, even like in the future we have like draw streams as well. So
it's true, we do. I do those occasionally.
Yes,
they're fun to do.
Yes, and I think that's about everything.
Yeah,
and we'll see you next time when we jump on the big Boingo Boingo's Big Book Adventure.
See you then.
Goodbye.
Bye.